Hello. Last week we discussed mixed root styles and aligning the 3D Ortho tool, and today we're going to cover the construction lines on tube and pipe. Anybody using construction lines on the roots? Have you ever used them? I don't blame you if you didn't. I rarely use them, and I'm going to show you why and some of the cases where I've been using it. Right. So what are construction lines? Well, you obviously know what lines are, but have you ever used them inside tube and pipe? So you've got some construction lines there. Yeah. And I've got a couple of more here. You can always turn them off. So if you take the root visibility off, I like it on. In fact, with this visible, it's easier to edit. Just double click on it wherever you are and it's working. Right. So construction lines cannot be drawn with a command, even if you go in the 3D sketch, and if you select a line, you cannot change it to construction or vice versa. But you can still draw construction lines and help out with designing your roots. Right, so one example would be, see, I've got pretty much the same thing here. I've got a T running between these pumps, which is the drain for the tank. Let's assume that I want it right in the middle in between these pumps, or for that matter, that pipe clip, which I have a note there. So how do we get this on center? Let's just open the root. Where's the select other? There you go. That's the one. I just want to edit. So how do we get that node to be in the center? Let me remove that. Obviously, when I've started my root, sure you can see the line just goes straight to the second pump, and I have a small gap there, and then I've placed a T. So what you should be able to do is dimension, just like I tried, the distance here, which is a driven dimension, fine, because it comes from the position of the pumps, and remove that. You should be able to dimension to the node and just say that divided by 2. Sometimes that's not working. A lot of the times it's not working. It comes back with a circular reference. It just is catching its own tail. But in this case it's working, right? But what if, let's just assume that's not working, that the line there is not working. How do we get this to be in center, in the middle, in between these two? Right, first of all, I should tell you how to start with the construction lines. They're not on the menu. Well, if you right click on any of the nodes, you have draw construction line. Any of the nodes and you have construction line. Any of the nodes and you have construction lines. Try again. Construction line there. Construction line. At this point, even if you click along one of the axes, Inventor does not constrain it. Let me turn constraints off. It's got no constraints. So even though we specified that along that axis which should have at least give us a collinear with that or perpendicular here or something. It doesn't. So this is just freely draggable up in the air. So for that matter, you could have construction line. You could have done anything. We just let's just go. This doesn't matter. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, it's up in the air. Right, so you need to constrain it. So what I'll do is collinear with that one, and then you can dimension it. Yeah, and you have a construction line. And that's how you draw construction lines. You just right click on the node. Unfortunately, you cannot change this on the fly. Like if you want to switch this one to construction and that one to regular, there's no option. Even if you go in format, there's no way you can change it. I think this is a bug, a limitation. I've already posted this on the idea station, so go find my post on tube and piping overhaul and give us a vote if you think it's necessary. Furthermore, if I want to draw another construction line from here, you cannot. It is impossible. That's it. You can only do it from a node that will have a fitting. Yeah, a node from the root, not from the construction line. So that's how you do construction lines. Now, back to our problem. How do we get this to be on center in between these two? Construction line, just go there. At this point, I can just coincide the end here with there. And then from here, construction line, go ahead. Let's make this perpendicular to that one. Yeah. And then I can coincide with the center. Can still flip. There's another logical solution. It can be 10 on the other side. Yeah, on either side of that node. But this is fixed. Don't be confused about the color. This didn't turn blue. That's because when you drag it, it'll actually move this node. And that's how you have this node in between the pumps. Right, so that's one case when you might need to use construction lines. Right. Show me another case. Another case would be when you need to draw a root at a weird angle and you need to dimension it as well. What do you mean by weird angles? Let me just come here for a second. This is a 2-inch drain pipe coming down, and say I wanted 45 degrees from the wall, yeah, or 30, or any weird angle. How would you do that? How are you doing that? Because you cannot dimension to a plane. So let's just go inside there. Okay, so we are inside the root now. As you can see, I can drag this to any angle. Yeah, can you see that? So how do I get it 45 degree from that wall? Let me just turn my planes on for a second and try and dimension that to the plane. You cannot. Distance to the plane, yes I can, but what's the distance? Do I gotta start playing with trigonometry? It's been a long time since I've done it. I can do that. No good. Alright, so here's one way to do it. Let's draw construction lines. Just go down, doesn't matter where. We're gonna constrain the projection actually. So from here, construction line somewhere around there. I don't even care that it's skewed. I can start another construction line somewhere in there. Yeah. Alright. You need to constrain the base to make it in plane. So let me try and constrain this to the side wall. Yeah. And then that needs to be perpendicular there, and this needs to be collinear with that one. Yeah. Now let's coincide these two and make these two perpendicular. I've done something wrong. Perpendicular there. What's the angle? Yeah, it already is 90. Okay. Right, I'm not sure if you can see. Yes, these two are parallel with the floor. They're in plane. Yeah. It's too bad I cannot draw another construction line, because I would have had a triangle there. Now I can dimension this to whatever, 50. It doesn't matter. This is perpendicular to that face and it's 50. And this cannot go anywhere. Yeah, can you see that? And now if I dimension this, what was it that I wanted? 45. That's fixed now. Why don't I just open this? Root 13. Let me just open it by itself. Maybe we'll see it better. Let me just go in. Yes, I know. I can only edit it, but I cannot save it. It doesn't matter. If I want to, I can edit it in here, but save it on the main assembly. So this one is perpendicular to this wall here. So what are the constructions line doing? This one's perpendicular to that face, and I've given it a dimension. I could have just coincide with the face there, and that's fully constrained. Yeah. And because that's perpendicular there, and that one's perpendicular with this one, yeah, meaning it's parallel with the floor. This one's collinear there, and they both coincide. I can change this to whatever angle I need. Obviously, this will be the complement, yeah. So now it'll be actually be 60 from the wall. But you can actually have weird angles this way. And that's one way to align this. The bad part is that all these lines will be visible inside the assembly. You can always turn the root visibility off, but let me just go back. Where's 13? Come back inside 13. Then from here, construction line. Oh yeah, by the way, construction line only works inside the tube and pipe environment. So if you have it open like I did, it doesn't work. Right, now again, collinear, this, there, yeah. And then that's perpendicular here already. Let me just dimension this to something really small, like say 10. Hope it's not going to be visible from the assembly. Let's do 10 there as well. And then you can do coincide that point with the line. Yeah, and it should pretty much be the same thing. Obviously, there's another logical solution. 45 on the other side is going to flip. But this way you can have these small. They're not quite that visible. If you're bothered, that is going to be visible inside the assembly and you don't want to turn it off. So you will only see this one. Yeah. Anyway, here's another example. that's just forcing it. 45, I was just playing with it to show you how it's working. Okay, let's go all the way up and show you more complex assembly. Right, this is the end result. I'm just gonna go in and remove these and show you what I'm doing exactly. Let's go back in. I've just got these nodes, yeah, for where pipe clips and valves and everything's gonna be. But if you're lazy or you want a way, you don't want to dimension it and you want a different way, you can always play with construction lines. Yeah, see, all these, they're on the same line, and all these, they're on the same line, and these are on the same line, and so on and so on. Yeah, they're all aligned. So go back in, show you a couple of ways to do this. Right, first of all, let me remove this short one, and let me remove this one, really long one. So from any point, right click, draw construction line, and just go ahead. You may want to constrain it to the origin planes. So I'm going to include my origin planes. You want to constrain these to the origin, because otherwise, you know, this could change. You could remove the nodes, you could remove these segments, and you don't want these hanging up in the air. So I'm just going to do perpendicular to one of my origin planes. This is actually origin planes of the run. Yeah, you want to keep it local. You don't want to include too much foreign geometry that could change. So that way this is perpendicular to the plane. So I can turn visibility off, and I can now constrain it, coincide these two. And while in the process, coincide again that point with the line and this point with the line. And because this has been dimensioned here, the rest will follow. So these are all fully constrained now, and I only need to use one dimension to control the position of all this. Yeah, let's just try, let's just add about 10 mil, so it all moved. Okay, so I removed this one as well. Let's put it back. Construction line in this direction. Now I can do parallel with the large one, or perpendicular with the one of the origin planes. Coincide here. Yeah, done. I would also like these points to be on this line and this one, so I don't have to draw a construction line from here all the way to there. I could have just done a really small one and then coincide this here and this on the line. And you can do the same with a large one. You can remove this and then construction line up to here, parallel with that one, coincide here, and then you can just say this point will be on this line, this point along this line, and this point along that line. Same for the last one, and you can control it all. Just say plus 20. Yeah, you can control it all with one dimension. Once you start using it, you'll get used to it, and you might find it useful. Right, so let's finish this. Now remember, from every node you can draw as many construction lines as you want. Yeah? The only downside is that they are visible inside the assembly, so you may need to turn the root off, but for me that's a bonus, because I can part priority, double click and I'm right inside that root. Now, also you may not want to use these. That's another negative side, is that when you go into the drawing, part priority, find in browser, if you include root centers, it's gonna include everything, your construction lines as well. So, and then you're forced to find them and remove them. So that's why you may want to stick with smaller segments, like really small segments, or don't use them at all. Sorry. Visibility. Got another one here, visibility. Because otherwise it just gets too complicated. So for things where you need to, like on this pump, like I said, sometimes using the dimension from a reference dimension is not working inside my roots. I don't know, maybe it's just me, maybe I'm having a bad habit. But there are cases where you may want to use it, but keep it to a minimum so you don't see it in the drawing or in the assembly. And that's how you do construction lines inside tube and pipe. And this is it. Hope you learned something new, and you're gonna start using construction lines if you weren't using them. Join me next week when I'm gonna show you a nice little trick on how to author butt fusion welding fittings. How do you author so that the bill of material report full pipe length and yet the roots have the length after butt fusion welding. Till next time, bye bye.